What's up, guys? So this is the kit that I went with. If you look back a few videos before, we did an unboxing of it. It's nothing crazy. Honestly, I bought it because it was the one that was on sale. Uh, they were doing like a Memorial Day sale or something. I don't remember. But got your little filler neck here. That'll be going through the box once we get there. Some mounting hardware. I did already do the holes before I cut you guys on here, just to kind of give me a starting point. I know that the tank is going to go here, and that's my starting point. I'm not going to go back. I'm not going to move anymore. That's where it goes. This is the sending unit that came with the kit. It's also by CPP. See if I get you guys a part number. Hopefully that's not too blurry. I have installed kits like this in the past, not this particular one, but I think most of them are the same. Never been much of a person to read instructions anyways, so I kind of just run with it, And it's got me this far, so I'm sure I could just figure it out. One thing that we do have to do is measure the tank, and I'll show you guys how to do that. And then this is adjustable here. You have to loosen these up. This gets moved up, and then this is your arm. This piece is just in here to hold it in place, but this is where your floater goes, and this goes up and down. That's what sends the signal. This is your signal wire. This runs through the frame up to the cab, to your gauge. And actually that's another wire that needs to be ran through the frame. I don't have that wire, so that's something else that I have to do. But let's measure this tank real quick, and then I'll show you how to set this up. This is where our sending unit goes on this particular one. Each model could be different. This is the one that I'm using. The box for this unit, I already threw it away. I bought this a couple months ago, but I did do an unboxing. You go back, you check it out. But this thing is going to be in different spots on different tanks. The measurements are going to be different, so don't use my measurements unless you're using the exact same tank. That's very important. Now, obviously, when your tank is brand new, it's empty, so you want to go straight down. This particular tank is 9 inches. So we're working with a tank that's 9 inches, and I'll show you how to lay this out on the ground real quick, and I'll show you where to put your floater on a 9-inch tank. Sorry guys, I'm having a kind of a hard time to figure out where to put you guys, because I got a fan blowing at full speed, and I really don't want to mess up the audio too much for you guys. But basically I just got a soapstone, something to mark on. I do everything kind of off the ground, on the floor, just what I'm used to, but you can do this on anything that's obviously bigger than 9 inches, because that's what we're working with. But we're gonna draw, that's the top of the tank, and that's going inside of the tank. So if you guys can imagine this sitting just like this, hope you guys can see what I got going on here. Now, we said that the tank depth is 9 inches, so this needs to be half of the depth of the tank to the center of your pivoting arm. So we got 9 inches. That puts us at 4.5 inches. Let me grab my tape real quick. that puts us at 4.5 inches. That's the center of the tank, and 9 inches is the bottom of the tank. Not a very deep tank, but we are on air ride suspension, so I kind of went with a pretty shallow tank, so I wouldn't have to worry about bottoming out anywhere. So that's our full tank. That's 9 inches. So we're gonna adjust this up to 4.5. I'll cut you guys right back on. All right, here's something that I forgot to mention to you guys before we get a little bit too far in this. The tank itself is 9 inches, but the sending unit bolts onto this flange right here, and this flange is sitting on top of the tank 1/2 inch. So our measurement over here is actually 9.5 inches. We need to add that 1/2 inch, and half of 9.5 inches is 4 3/4. So I already did it. I just needed to add that little spot on there. But this sits on here like this, and that puts our little arm half the swing radius. So this is gonna, we'll need to measure from here and get a measurement from here to here. Not really a measurement, more of a distance, because this floater is going to be sitting on the bottom of the tank like this. So you're going to be something like that. So this is where we need to be. We need to chop this up. You could just mark that, honestly. I mean, it's not going to be, that's it right there. I was going to move it around a little bit, but that's where it is. That's where it goes. We'll chop that. I'm going to mark that with a black marker. Take our little dowel piece that they put in here, and then we'll put ours in here. It has a little set screw right here on top, and we'll put this one on here, and then we can put it inside the tank. So that's that. Let me get that set up for you guys. All right, so I kind of have it mocked up right here for you guys, just so you can see. Just kind of some stuff propping it up, but same principles. Just measure from the very top of where the sending unit mounts to the very, very bottom of the tank. Set the swivel arm right in the center, and then put this arm where this would sit flat at the bottom of the tank. Simple enough. I'm sure there's probably a scientific way or something, but this is how I've done it, and it's worked for me. So it does come with the rubber gasket, and I did add the rubber gasket in there. This particular one is just 1/4 inch, so don't forget your gasket. Put your 1/4 inch in there. And also, these are universal kits, so I mean, once you start doing budget builds, a lot of the parts that you're going to buy are going to be universal stuff. So there are going to be some modifications needed when you go put this stuff in. Like this arm is bolted on to the back of this little unit here. I think it's bolted up something like this or something. Yeah, like that. And then this guy was bolted up here. So this could be used for a lot of different size tanks, but like I'm saying, I'm using a real shallow one just because of the air ride suspension. When I go all the way aired out, I don't want this thing close to nothing. So, I mean, if that's an extra stop at the gas station, I'm all right with that. So, this is actually a little long. I think I'm gonna just cut it a little shorter. It doesn't have to be that long. Doesn't really matter, but just, I don't know. It's kind of funky to me. So, I'm gonna cut that. Feed this gasket through. Bolt it up, and then we'll see what else is in here. Oh, this is the rollover valve, I believe these are. Fuel tank vent. There's a vent. Got a couple plugs. I think this one has. Oh yeah, this one has the feed lines right there, and a return line. I don't think I'm gonna be doing a return line right now. We're just gonna do just a single feed for now. I think once we disassemble everything to run the LS motor, then I think that one you actually have to have a return line, if I'm not mistaken. I think it needs to have the inline fuel pump with the return on it, so we'll throw that in there later. I don't even have enough braided line to run another line anyway, so we're gonna run a carburetor setup for now. This tank should do just fine. We'll set this up, and maybe I'll go through all my parts real quick. Throw a little clamp on this guy, and we'll probably just. I got some. Man, what are they called? They're just like little clamps that you self tap into the frame. Maybe we'll hook all this up, and we'll connect. We'll connect it up to the carburetor for now. And I guess we'll see after that. Let's knock this little tank out real quick. Well, there it is, guys. That little guy's in there. I went ahead and already kind of wrapped these guys. About to throw them in. It's cooling down a little bit, so I'm actually feeling pretty good. I do have a fan blowing on that side, so I apologize if you hear some wind, but it's gonna have to do, man. This is the rollover valve. Comes in the kit too. I'm not sure why I got sent 2 of them, but this is essentially what it looks like. Has a little ball bearing in there, just in case of a rollover is what, obviously the name. In case your truck gets rolled over, or your car, keep gas from coming out of your tank. But here's another thing: is I'm also going to be running AN fittings on this thing. These are the number 6, which is the equivalent to a 3/8 line, which that's what I'm going to be running, 3/8 line all the way through. And I guess let's put one of these together. If you guys haven't seen these before, I've only used them one time, and it wasn't even on my car. It was on a friend's vehicle. We threw a little filter in on the side rail for him sometime last year. I didn't actually run the whole thing, but we are going to run it on this one. I think it just looks slicker, and the connection is just that much more of a better, more solid connection than the traditional hose clamps that we're all used to. But I think they actually sell something to cut these, but I obviously don't have the tool. I do have this little tool that came with the kit. Basically, it's just like an aluminum wrench. I'll probably be using mine anyways, but this will be to hold one side, and then I'll use that. I'll probably put some tape on the jaws just to prevent from scratching these up. I mean, they're nice. You don't want them all beat up, but that's what these are for. These are made for that. They're made out of the same aluminum material. They're softer. They lock right in. But I mean, I think if you buy these individually, each one is like 20 bucks. I think there's like cheaper ones for like 15 and it goes to like 30. But I mean, in all reality, you can use one of those. So we'll run some tape around here and we'll cut this back. And then we'll throw that fitting on there. This tank has two fittings on the front side. I'm gonna be clogging, or not clogging, but plugging one in. The other one is like for a return, but like I mentioned, I'm not gonna run the return on this one until we go fuel injection with that motor. If we ever do decide to go that way, I do have the port to run that, but for now we're just gonna plug it. We have another port up here. Plug that one. It does come with plugs, and this guy obviously goes here, goes through the bed, has a little sleeve. So we'll put it in and shut it just so nothing gets inside. So I can start moving this tape because it's all, I mean, it's been sun baked, so the last thing I want is for a brand new tank to have crap in it. This came in the kit too. The kit didn't come with instructions, so if you guys know where this guy goes, I've never used this one before. Not sure if it's part of a universal kit or something, but for my application, I'm just gonna be feeding from the bottom and then pulling from the pump up front. So that's the way I'm gonna run it for now. It's worked, so I'm just gonna run it like that. I'm gonna stick to what I know, and then if we learn something new in the future, then we'll try something else. But this has always worked for me, so I'm gonna stick to what I know, and we'll continue with that. And we're gonna run it alongside the frame, and I think I do have a fitting that'll fit in here, AM fitting. So we might. I do have another filter, which is an inline filter, but it didn't come with fittings, which kind of sucks. So I have to look it up and see what kind of fitting it's for. You know where I put it at. But anyways, I don't have the fittings to put it on anyway, so that's gonna have to hold on for now. But let's get that wrapped up and we'll get that cut. We'll throw that fitting in there and we'll screw that fitting in there. We'll see how much time we got, and we'll continue with that. So we can run it through the rail and start to mount it up. So it is now officially no longer a roller. It'll stay up on jacks probably for the next couple weeks for sure. Our exhaust kit is here, so we're gonna be able to finally put an exhaust on this thing. Let me see, can't really see, but we're gonna start running the exhaust on here. We're gonna go with just a basic we got somebody getting in trouble over there in the background. Probably the dog chewing on stuff. Well, here's our fuel line. So we got plenty of fuel line. Comes all the way out here. We don't have enough to make a return, but we do have enough to connect up to here. So that's gonna be it for today. I'll leave you guys with this, and then we'll start again tomorrow. What's up, guys? It's a few days after. Waited over the weekend. We took off out of town to check out the C10 Slowdown in Avila Beach. So got away from the heat for a little bit. I mean, it's been extremely hot here, as it is in other places. You know, wherever you guys are watching from, I'm sure. You know, this heat wave stuff is it's all over the place. But I did enjoy the show. That was a bad show. I mean, if you guys haven't been to the C10 Slowdown, that's definitely one that you guys want to put in your calendars. This year it was July the 27th, 2024 at Avila Beach. Just amazing show. But with that being said, I did see a bunch of stuff that I'm actually missing on my truck. Watching other people's builds, you know, talking to other people, going around and taking pictures of their rides. I do have a video uploaded if you guys want to check it out of the actual show. Us walking around, showing the best of the best, at least in my opinion. You know, there's a lot of amazing trucks. It's I think there was 1,000 something trucks, so it's kind of hard to put that in a 30-minute video. But I did try to take as much video as possible. My phone maxed out at one point, so instead of sitting there trying to delete pictures, I just kind of ran with it and posted it up. But we are back here at home now, and let me show you the process of what we got, or not process, but the progress of what we got going on. And let me turn this around for you guys. I don't really like doing these videos too much in, you know, day 1, day 2, you know, day 3. For one, because I forget what the heck I talk about, and you know, I don't sit there and write what I'm gonna say. I'm just kind of going on the fly, you know, as if you guys were doing it here with me. That's how I talk to you guys, and you know, that's just the way we're making it work right now. So tank is in, fuel sending unit is in. Well, that's the meter. The meter for your gauge is in. Rollover valve is in. Got that plugged in for now. One thing that I did notice is I didn't have any lugs that fit this size wire, so I had to kind of chop it a little bit. But I did order some. If it comes in, I won't chop it. I'll just put that back how it goes. Let me see what else. Oh, okay. There's one thing. So I was talking to a couple guys out there that are running these tanks on carbureted engines like we currently have at the moment. And every single person that I talked to recommended to have a filter that has a return line. And I guess I can say running the small block 400 on my blue truck, I do remember having some issues, especially like right now when it's 100 and something, when I would drive it, say half an hour, 40 minutes, and then parked it. And it was extremely hard to get it back to start. A lot of it was they call it the fuel boiling. You can actually see bubbles in there. Heat soak is another name that you guys might kind of know it as. I am running a aluminum spacer, and apparently I probably should have went with something else. I went with aluminum just to kind of follow the look, you know. But they were saying that I think it's called poly or something, polyplastic, somewhere along those lines. It's more like a fiberglass plastic blend type of deal, and that's supposed to be better than this. But I haven't ran this motor, so I have no idea. But I am gonna run this, and this pretty much it's exactly what it does. It lets fuel go back to the gas tank and keeps it from just staying in one spot. So it's constantly flowing. You shut off the motor, the fuel, or at least the hot fuel, will go back to the tank, and it won't just stay in here. So shout out to you guys that gave me those tips on that. I was gonna run this same type of setup on my last one. I just didn't make it that far. So we'll be running this guy probably somewhere in here. And then, so since I wasn't accounting for that, I didn't have a return line hose in here. I was gonna do this later, but everybody, I actually met a couple people that have been watching the videos, which was kind of cool, you know. And one of the guys was like, "Hey man, I watched the video where you ran that fuel line. You should have ran a return." And it's like, you know, maybe that was the sign that I needed. So we're not too far along. What I did is I unbolted the gas tank again. I slid it as far this way as possible. And I had my son on this side, and I kind of fed it through. I got it as far as I could, and it wasn't working. So what I did is I taped it back together. I put this power line as far back as I possibly can, where you can still hold it right here. And then I taped it on the opposite end, and then I just kind of pulled it along with it. So don't cut your stuff to length. That's one thing I will tell you guys. Don't cut this stuff to length until you know you're done. Because if I would have cut this thing to length, I wasn't going to be able to do what I just did right now. Because I was going to actually already chop this thing to run a power supply right here for my bags. So I'm glad I didn't. So right now we're kind of, that's where we're at. We still have no brakes, so I can't even get too crazy with I'm almost done, because we're not almost done. The drive line, I still haven't found the part number to put this thing back together, because I think like one of these is one size, the other side is a different size, and this guy, I think it's two of them are the same. One's smaller, one's bigger. Like, I don't know. I kind of just got tired of listening and trying to figure it out. Like, I might just drop this off and, you know, just tell them, you know what, put it back together, and that's it. You know, I want to do everything myself, but sometimes it's just like, man, I can't do this because I need to do this. And I can't stop doing this because I still haven't finished that. So as you guys have been following me since the beginning, know that the timeline is September the 21st. So with that being said, September 21st is just around the corner. Today, I believe, is today's the 2nd of August. So I want to say a full month and maybe a week into September is all I'm going to do to this truck. After that, I need to focus on my the apparel side. I do sell hats, I sell shirts, I sell stickers, and that stuff helps me fund, you know, all these projects. So I do appreciate the guys that buy stuff from me or hit me up on Instagram, on Facebook. You can find me at Square Body Builders with the Z as well on Instagram. You guys can see a lot of my stuff on there. Most of these videos you'll see me wearing them. You know, I really don't kind of throw myself out there at the moment because my store is not open. It's just pretty much if you see something I like or see something that you like that I'm wearing. Yes, I do make my own shirts. Yes, I do sell my own stuff. So, you know, just hit me up like, hey, I like the hat you're wearing, man. Can I get one? And I will get you set up. But for now, we need to get back going on this. We need to chop this, get this back to how it was. I bought a fitting because we are running a return line now and we were plugged. So we're going to remove the plug. I couldn't find an AN fitting that'll fit that, but I did run across this, and this will work for now. It's just a 6 AN fitting on one side, and then I'm just going to run a push hose on the opposite side, and it should be all right. It'll look all right. This is like I said, I mentioned I brought this all the way up. Once this goes all the way back, you're not gonna notice that one side has a, you know, nice little 90 on it, and the other one is a push fitting. This low pressure line, so push fitting with a little clamp on it, it will do just fine for now. If we do end up running the LS motor, that's high pressure fuel injection stuff, so some of this stuff will probably have to change, but that's down the line. For now, I got my son over there helping me out, sanding down the headers. As you can see, I removed them. I thought they were powder coated, but apparently they're not, because they're already rusting through. So this is just bare metal. The other side's even worse, but you can kind of see the rust building up. So gotta remove those, get those sanded down. Went to my local parts store, bought some paint, header paint. I removed the cables that were here. These are the ones that the truck came with. When I bought the truck originally, I did get it to run. It didn't run very well, but I mean, it did run. So I think most of these little relays and little stuff that these guys were using before, it does work, because I did hear the truck crank. So I know the powers is kind of good, I think. But I'm still gonna put my own. And there's another little neat thing that I'm gonna run. I'm gonna run one of these. This is just like a to run a stud or another post, because my battery's in the back now. So I think I'm gonna mount this guy in here, somewhere in here, in case I ever need to jump start this truck. But what I'm really gonna use it for is, there's a stud in the back. So I'm actually gonna run power to here, and then use this as a junction box, and connect the starter and the alternator on here. I think that should work. It's not really meant for that, but I think it'll work. Maybe, because I mean, it's essentially doing the same thing as this. Everything runs to this, and then everything runs from this. So essentially, I think it's the same thing. Maybe I could even, now that I'm looking at this thing, what if I was to bolt this thing up to the bottom of that post? Never thought of that one. Might work, but let me get back on this thing, and then I'll cut you guys right back on. All right, had to take a small little break there, get some food. See, my son, he went inside to go eat himself. He said he's already got 4 layers of primer, and he has 4 layers of paint. So I guess that's as good as this is gonna get. Once this dries up, I mean, it's actually already kind of dry, but there's no point on putting it on right now. It'll just be in the way. Let me turn down this music real quick and show you as far as we got for today. I mean, I don't want this video to get any longer than it already is, but I will show you where we're at the moment. Okay, so what did we do? We ran the power up to the front, and we installed that filter. So basically, I showed you what I did in the beginning when we first started, or at least what I was going to do. That same line that we had, the original line, this one here, I pretty much just cut it and spliced in this filter, and it has a 1/4 inch return. And I'm missing an AN fitting. I've been sitting here looking and looking and looking, and I can't find it. Basically, what I need is a 3/8 MPT to a 1/4 inch. What do they call that? A nipple. I know it as a nipple, but to slide the hose on. I'm sure you guys know what I'm talking about. I just can't find it. I guess it's the other one of these, actually. Another one of these, and then I was gonna put my fitting on that and tie this guy in, but can't find it. So it's either upstairs in my pocket of one of the older pants that I've been wearing, or it's in this box, and maybe I'm just a little bit tired from this heat. But we got that in there. We ran the power up to the front, so I got this all the way alongside here. It's not permanently placed, but it is ran alongside the frame rail. And inside of here, sorry if it echoes a little loud, but here's where we ended up. Now, I don't remember the length of the cable that I bought, but I want to say it was 25 feet, I want to say. And that is from the battery up and through the C notch alongside here, and then up through here, then out here. Now, here's where I'm at right now. I was talking to a buddy of mine. I know him as Gilbert. Some people know him as Second Chance C10 on Instagram. Good friend of mine. Very, very knowledgeable on engine stuff. So I was talking to him on what I think in my head I want to do and what would be the best way of doing it. Now, that's as much cable as I have. I was going to obviously just run it straight to the starter and then piggyback from the starter with this cable that was already here from the alternator. So basically connect that guy to there, and then the battery to there, and then piggyback up there. But another thing that I was thinking is, I remember purchasing some battery posts that I wanted to include in this build, which is these guys here, because we've put the battery in the back. So if I ever need to jump start this vehicle, it's going to be pretty hard with the box on, because the battery is going to be pretty hard to get access to it. So I've seen these placed like inside the box, and once you open the tailgate, it's like sitting right here, which is cool. I mean, honestly, that's where I was going to put it at first, but I was thinking, it's like, man, it was so much work getting these cables through these holes because of the way that I have it laid out. I mean, I just kind of blew the hole, so the cable gets snagged in there. It's just kind of a pain. So I already got power over here, so I was thinking, why don't I put this guy in here somewhere, kind of like the newer Silverados, like the 5.3s have like that battery little box right here. If you guys know anything about LS motors, there's like a little box right there where you can get power. So I was thinking of putting it here, kind of tucked in and out of the way, but I don't have enough cable to make it up there, and I don't want to purchase any more cable. That stuff is pretty expensive. Just I would just need like, man, another 2 or 3 feet, but it is what it is. So down here in the frame, if you see, like, there's a lot of factory holes, so I try to use as many of these as I can. Just it makes it easier. So here's where I have so far. There's a set of holes on this side. They're in this exact same position that there is right now. All I did was get a what are they called? Let me show you, since my brain ain't working. This guy. Oh, the step bit. There you go. Maybe I just needed to look at it. The step bit. So I drove this guy through those factory holes and gave me some access to these cables that I now ran through here. And I think I'm gonna put this guy right here. I don't think it'll be in the way. In my head, I think it'll work. These have the pulse on the bottom, So I would just essentially be running this up to the back, you know, like this, something like that. It'd be like that. This guy would be in here also. It's kind of long, but you know, that would be right there. I'd be grounding that. And then this would be right here. This would be behind this thing. You know, I don't know yet. I don't know. It was just an idea, but it would give me access to battery posts in here inside the engine bay if need be. You know, these little things just pop off. See if I can get this thing to come off. See? Give me some cool little posts in here if I ever need to get battery power up here at the engine. I have these to connect from. Now, I like the idea. I'm just not sure about the position right there. I don't think the tire would hit, but I think I might need to just kind of mount this without putting any wires to it, just mounting it, mounting the tire and raising the tire essentially as if I was lowering the vehicle, and turn the wheel and see if it would hit those. I don't think it will, but it's something to consider. Yeah, that's where I'm at. So we're gonna end that here. I got a little bit of brainstorming to do. I'm sure this video is probably boring you guys, but I'm trying to film as much as I possibly can for the person that, you know, hasn't done this before or just looking for some ideas. I'm trying not to skip as much as I can. I like to film the whole process of doing this stuff. I like doing it. So there I am. Leave a comment down below. What would you guys do? Should I stick with it? Run this guy in here, leave it grommeted in there, and run this. Just because I bought this doesn't mean I need to use it. So that's not even that big of a deal. Those holes down there don't bother me. So if I could maybe just run it to the starter and from the starter to the alternator, that's fine too. I can always just do that. And maybe I could put these back there later on once we put this box on. You know, that might just be the better idea. I do have a double outlet on this, so I can connect this, run that up to the starter, and then run this to those posts back here. Let me know, guys. See you guys on the flip side.